Live. Call to order the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for November 18th, 2025.
Good evening, Commissioners. Jason Halpern, Assistant Director of Planning and Zoning. I would like to submit the following exhibits for tonight's record. They are the Platte County Zoning Order of 1990 as amended, the Platte County Subdivision Regulations of 1992 as amended, the Platte County Land Use Plan, Platte County Roads Master Plan, all PowerPoint presentations with aerial maps, site plans, and plats shown here tonight, and the Planning and Zoning bylaws.
There's no objections. We'll enter those into the record.
One item of housekeeping. Agenda item 3C, the rezoning request of the Andrews Trust has been withdrawn, so it will not be heard tonight. That's why it was not in your packets. Item 3C has been withdrawn. And Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I would like to present agenda items 3A and 5A together as they pertain to the same property.
All right.
And I would like to point out, when you arrived tonight, you had two exhibits on your chairs. Exhibit 5A2, the email from the Lesmeister couple in opposition to the proposed telecommunications tower. And exhibit 5A3 was an applicant handout showing the need for coverage and existing coverage and need for coverage for the proposed cell tower as well. Agenda item 3A is a request to rezone 8.5 acres located directly east of 14830 North Winnan Road from RMD, which is residential multiple dwelling, to RE, which stands for rural estates. Agenda item 5A is a request for a special use permit for a telecommunications tower in the rural estate zoning district on that 8.5 acre property. The Swaney Family Trust is applying to rezone its 8.5 acres from RMD, as I stated, to RE in order to apply for this special use permit for the telecommunications tower. AT&T, which is placed a 250-foot self-support lab-type house within a 100-foot by 100-foot leased area on this 8.5 acre tract. This tower will be located east of some grain bins that currently are located on the property and south of some everything high density power lines that run through the property as well. It will be accessed, the tower will be accessed from North Winnan Road. The Rural Estate District, the special use permit, as I stated, 250-foot self-support lattice tower. This facility will consist of that tower, the generator, equipment cabinets, and AT&T antennas. The applicant will be providing documentation from the FAA that since the tower is greater than 200 feet, it will require lighting. That's non-negotiable. They have to have that before they can move forward for any construction. They are in the process of obtaining that from the FAA, but it's a requirement. Anything over 200 feet requires the tower to be lighted. As I stated, it would be east of these existing drain bins and south of power lines. It will utilize the existing driveway access on the North Winnan Road. They're requesting this special use be valid for a period of 90 years. Current RMD zoning does not allow for a telecommunications tower. That is why they are requesting the rural estate zoning, which allows it as a special use permit. Real estates zoning district, the minimum lot size is 5 acres. Minimum lot width requirement is 400 feet. Property does meet these requirements. So the aerial view, subject property and surrounding zonings. Get your bearings. This is Highway 92. We're running east out of the Platte City. This is Kansas City here to the south. This is North Winnan Road as it runs to the north. So the property outlined here in yellow. Close-up view of the property. The yellow line is the 8.5 acre property. The pink line is the 100 by 100 lease area. And the green is the access utility easement to access the tower site using the existing driveways that go around the grain bins. You can see the grain bins here. Power lines run right through here. Exhibit 5A2 was from these property owners right here to the north. This is our Platte County Future Land Use Plan map. The red arrow indicates the approximate location of the property. It falls within our agricultural policy area, which recommends one lot per 10 acres or more. But this is an existing 8.5 acre tract. We're not creating any additional lots. This is not an area that's planned for multifamily development or high density development. So rezoning to rural estates would actually conform to the recommendations of our land use plan remove that area from any chance of having high density type development. Telecommunications towers or special use permits governed by a specific section of our zoning order, Article 3, Section 400.440. It states towers must be set back from any building a distance of equal to the height of the tower plus 20 feet. Grain bins not considered a building. You don't need to get a permit for a grain bin, so it's fine for them to be close to those grain bins. It is set further. The closest house, I believe, 650 feet northeast of the tower is going to be that up northeast of the existing building. So it does meet these requirements. It does have, the zoning order requires co-location when available. The proposed tower could have co-location, which means other carrier antennas on it in the future if desired. It governs the aesthetics of our tower. It requires it to be a galvanized finish. This tower would be a galvanized finish. It must meet all FAA requirements. Like I stated, if it's over 200 feet, it has to have a light. It would be a lattice type tower. It's not within 10,000 feet of any airport. It is within 16,000 feet, which is southwest of KGI, but that does fall within outside of the parameters that's allowed. We'll point out that there are state and federal regulations that supersede our zoning order, and we provided those in your staff reports. And Daniel is going to quickly go over those.
Daniel Erickson, the Director of Planning and Zoning. As Jason mentioned, there are state laws and federal laws that relate to telecommunication towers that we need to understand. Quick background, back in really in the 2000s, we used to see an application for a cell tower about every month. There was a big build out of cell towers in Platte County and other the country. Back then, not everybody, there were still a lot of people had landlines. Cell towers were not ingrained as much as they are now into our lives. Cell tower companies basically lobbied the state legislature, making the argument that they were coming or were in their mind more of a public service, like a power pole or a water tower. Those kind of things don't come to the local planning commission for approval. They're regulated by the Public Service Commission. So they got the state legislature to adopt some rules that regulated local authority's ability to consider cell towers. Cell towers they still have to get approval. They didn't eliminate that process, but they restricted the things that the local jurisdiction can impose or reasons why they can condition or deny a request. So I'm going to go over this real quick because ironically, back when this was approved in 2014, I'm not sure we've had a cell tower since then. I think the industry really shifted to a lot of revamping their technology, their antennas. So it's been a while since we actually had a cell tower application. So
Yeah.
we had one. Okay. We used to have them once a month. Used to have a lot of them. So I'm going to go through this real quick. This was in your packet, but I'm going to paraphrase this so we can have an understanding of what the rules are for this planning commission of the county as it relates to considering this application. And these are labeled in the law, the state law, prohibited acts by authority being local authority, like that. Number one is business decisions. Basically, you cannot turn it down based on you think that there's other carriers in the area. If this carrier thinks there's a need for it, you can't question that. Number two is, and this is kind of problematic, is the ability of can't analyze the request based on other available locations. You can't say move it to the next hill. This is what they're proposing. You can't turn it down because you think it'd look better on the next hill or another property. Can't question that. Number three is you can't dictate the type of wireless facility. You can't say it needs to be a guide wire versus a lattice tower versus a monopole. We don't have the authority to tell them what kind of technology you need to require. Number seven is require Removal, you can't say, okay, you can put it up, and you need to remove a tower down the road. Can't do that. 5, 6, 7, and 8 relate to, sometimes you hear people make an argument about either health concerns related to frequencies or maybe an interruption with radio frequency. That is strictly prohibited for you to consider. I mean, that's something that's regulated under the FCC, so we can't, people might say it, and that's why I need to prepare you. They might say these things, but you really have to disregard it. But the law says we need to disregard it as far as basing our decision. So if somebody says it's gonna interrupt my TV signal, I need to talk to the state or federal government. You can't turn it down based on any airspace restriction. Can't prohibit them providing a generator at the base of it for power. A lot of the cell towers now have backup generation power, and that's allowed under all cell towers. 11 relates to the fee. These are things we don't do. We can't impose insurance bonds, which is something we used to do, but now we can't. We used to have a bond that said if you put up a tower, you put up a bond that says if you abandoned it, you had to tear it down. Can't do that anymore. Number 13 is you can't say we'll approve it if you allow our sheriff department to put their radio tower on it. We don't do that. We're not going to do that. You can't limit the duration. Now, I don't know, did they put a duration on this one? They put 90 years. Well, technically we can't do that. It's one of those in perpetuity based on the law. We can't discriminate against, I don't know what company this is. With AT&T, we like Verizon better. You can't do that. Not that we would. You can't impose any requirement or obligation regarding the presentation or appearance of facilities, including but limited to those relating to the kind or type of materials used and those relating to the arranging, screening, or landscaping of facilities, if such regulations or obligations are unreasonable. Now, there was a trend, probably why this was put in there back in the 2000s. A lot of cities were trying to get all their cell towers to look like pine trees, and I think that's what this is geared towards. I mean, we still have some basic screening provisions in our ordinance, which they are adhering to as far as screening the base, but I guess it's up for somebody to determine what unreasonable is, but I think you get into saying, okay, let's make it look like a big Christmas tree. That's probably gonna not fare well in court. The last one, that really is significant is 19 as it relates to co-location. We cannot force the applicant to provide spaces for co-location, or can we say you need to co-locate on some existing tower. So that's a paraphrase of the prohibited activities. And it's difficult. I mean, you kind of ask the question, well, why do we have it here? You can't consider these things, but they left that part in there. The biggest thing is you can't you can't question their need for it. They say there's a need for it. We can't say, well, we don't think there is. You can't, and this is the hardest one, in my opinion. You can't say, well, wouldn't it be better if it was on the next hill or up the road or down the road? Basically, you have to look at the application as it was submitted to you and look at the criteria and base your decision based on that criteria. You cannot say, well, it should be on the next property. So that's all I have. I'll turn it back over to Jason.
This is the site plan that was submitted in conjunction as required by the special use permit process. It has been reviewed and meets all the requirements of the site development plan. The section of our zoning order, several pages. I'll slowly go through them. Here you can see the grain bins and the driveway access, tower, lease area. A little bit tighter view of that. This is the equipment that'll be at the base of the tower. Generator cabinets. So an elevation view of the tower itself. This is what it'll look like, a lattice support tower. It does call for the placement of a 6-foot solid faux stone fence around the base of the facility. And they'll also be installing a landscape buffer in the form of some evergreen arborvitae trees around the base of the facility. It will also be screened from adjoining properties by those existing grain bins and the existing stand of timber there on the north. It's our opinion that would adequately screen the base of the facility. This is the site plan showing the proposed landscape buffer around the base of it. And the proposed fencing actually went above and beyond any fencing we've ever seen. Actually, they usually just have a chain link with slats, and this is actually going to be a nice looking faux stone fence around the base. These are the entities that reviewed both the rezoning and special use permit requests. They signed the application indicating their ability to provide service. They provided a copy of the site plan for comment. And there are the Platte City Special Road District, Platte County Health Department, Public Water Supply District number 4, Central Platte Fire Protection District, Northland Regional Ambulance District, Platte County R3 School, and the cities of Kansas City and Platte City. I did not have any comments from any of those entities. These other recommendation criteria for rezoning. Detrimental effects to nearby properties appear to be minimal. Applicable services and utilities are available. And the proposed rezoning is conformance with our recommendations of our land use plan. And these are the recommendation criteria for a staff report, or excuse me, a special use permit. Seven standards that you measure those against. And, you know, like Daniel said, we do have those state and federal laws that kind of supersede our regulations. So I just want to point those out. Staff recommends approval of the request to rezone from RMD, not ag, to real estates. Copy and paste line. And staff recommends approval of the special use permit for the telecommunications tower and with the following conditions of the county commission approve the applicant's request to rezone from RMD to real estates, and then it be good and valid for a period of 90 years. I'm available for any questions you may have.
I got a question. Is it had a full national environmental policy act? Like, how is it affecting how is the cell tower affecting the area over there? I was just reading about something online as I looked it up, and that was one of the things that it brought up.
We love the environmental impacts. Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, it's called the NEPA, correct?
We don't have the authority to require that.
Yeah.
Specifically a cell tower.
This.
A little bit. Any other questions for
I guess
staff?
there was one more. It's the pertaining to the letter from Daniel. Rebecca. The property values. Do we have a study on that to show? Is that something that?
We do not,
Okay.
nor has one been submitted into the record.
Okay.
Any other questions for staff? Yeah. Comments from the audience for agenda item 3A and,
Might have the applicant get up first.
all right, applicant, if they're here, would they like to come up and? Yep, come up to one of the microphones. We'll swear you in first. You can stand up or sit down if you want to. It doesn't matter to us. Raise your right hand. State your name and address for the record, please.
Like home address. Okay. I, Jake Gain, on behalf of AT&T, address is 4029 Fulling Mill Street, St. Charles, Missouri, 63301.
Promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
Promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
Go ahead, sir.
I gave to Jason some of your, in your packets. Now it wasn't required by the state statute, but I wanted to provide it based on why we're here, the need. Again, AT&T uses tools to identify areas that are lacking performance. And a lot of this is dictated by customer complaints. So if there are enough people that complain in an area for AT&T coverage, it goes on AT&T's priority list that say, hey, we have to provide coverage here. Now, once they get that customer data, they then contract us to find an area in a search ring. Now, this search ring is very, very small. As Jason was stating, it's very precise of where they need to put these towers based on where existing ones are to cover these areas. Now, right now, I know that you guys have it in your packet. There's 5 other towers that are trying to cover this area. Now, when you put that tower in there, efficiently placed, that alleviates the need for any additional towers in that area. So the height of that tower and the placement will take any sort of pressure off of the other 5 towers to cover that area. And again, this is all based on customer complaints that drive the need. Other than that, like Jason said, all of this is meets the zoning requirements and, fencing, any sort of coverage that we can put on the ground to make it more aesthetically pleasing. That's why we're here. Any questions?
Questions for the applicant? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the audience? Come on up, sir. We'll swear you in as well. Raise your right hand, state your name and address for the record, please.
George Lesmeister, 15025 North Wyndham Road, Platte City, Missouri.
Promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Go ahead, George.
It's great that the aesthetics on the ground are in place, but we're not talking about the 250-foot tower that's going to be menacing over our property and our driveway. And other homes that are across the street, they're going to have the same look when they look out their front door and they see this giant tower right in front of their yard. There's no study that shows what detrimental impact it could have on the property values. So you're making a decision without having the full complement of the knowledge of what's going on here. And that's the thing. What's going to stop Sprint or Verizon or any other carrier from coming to the same conclusion that location is applicable for a tower? I get it. Because where we live, that surrounding area, it's difficult to get any type of cable or anything else. We can't even stream anything at the house. And now we're going to put this giant tower up, which nobody knows what the impact is going to be on other, satellite dishes or whatever. And I just think that the biggest issue here is the height of it and the fact that it's going to be imposing upon everybody that lives in that vicinity. And that's my, and we don't know what it's going to turn to our property values. Nobody knows that. They just said that there's no study on it. So that's my comment.
All right. Thank you, George. We'll call you back up at the end. Anybody else want to speak in the audience for agenda item 3A or 5A? All right. Come on back up. Yep.
I just want to respond to a couple of the questions. 2 things. Fiber will be brought to this tower. So there will be internet now that wasn't there before. That will be brought in by AT&T Mobility through the ground. Everything, utilities will be brought in. So if there's fiber running to the tower, now there's going to be fiber right across the street for Winan Road for internet access. And then lastly, property values, subjective argument. Some would say with us having, probably all of you having a phone in your pocket right now, could raise the property value, right? Access to internet in a tower or in a rural area that wouldn't have access to tower could be, again, a subjective argument for, property values going up, not the opposite.
That's right.
I mean, do you really think that a cell phone tower brings up a property value, like when it's right next to a property? I'm just asking that as a.
For me, well, this is the only thing I can
understand what
say.
you're saying.
Everybody wants their phone to work, but they don't want the tower next to their house.
No, I get what you're saying in terms of like service being a thing that
Yes.
everybody wants and needs, but I think what he's saying, what what I would agree if I was a homeowner, that having a cell phone tower at your property, in my opinion, as somebody who's sold 4,000 plus properties and bought sold, it doesn't help the property value. I can tell you that.
Understood. Again, like everyone said, we don't have a study. We weren't required to do a study, but again, it is a subjective argument.
I don't know how subjective it is. I don't think it's pretty subjective. I think if anybody is going to tell you that if you have something that is menacing, it's not gonna, it's like we have an airport flying over our house. I mean, you could argue it's close to the airport. I do like that fact, but I think it's one of those, I don't know if it's that subjective. I would just be interested in what everybody else said.
Yeah, it's not something that would deter me personally. So I think that the subjectivity of it is valid because depending on where you're at, I think if you need it, I think it would be worth it.
Well, I guess the answer is, would you buy or not buy a house because of it, right?
Right. And I guess that would
You
be
got a
the
tower outside
individual.
your front yard. It'd be something that I know for me, as somebody who's dealt with a lot of real estate transactions, I know 100%, like I will say on the record, it brings down property values. It's something that's going to deter a property value. As somebody who's just like a busy road. A busy road is going to bring down the property value. A cell phone tower is going to bring down the property value. If it's right next to it, I'm not saying like as the whole area, it could, like you said, the whole area.
Do power lines bring down
Oh, yeah.
property value?
100%. 100%.
Again, I completely understand the argument. The only thing that I can say is the placement is to cover 5 other towers. So for instance, if you were to move it or shorten the height of it, then you're looking at more towers to cover the area.
Are you taking down those other towers?
No, there's a blank spot.
Works in conjunction with it.
Gotcha. All right.
Any other
Any other
questions for me?
for the applicant? All right, we'll close the floor for discussion amongst the board. Daniel, you got something that you
Well,
want
just to go to the standard. The standard is, first of all, we don't have nobody has submitted a study. Because that's not in the record, but the standard is a substantial injury to value of property. Not zero, not little, up or down, it's substantial injury to the value of property. And also, obviously there are a lot of cell towers next to a lot of neighborhoods that are worth a lot of money. The arguments on both sides of that value argument. And also, I would say the gentleman, the applicant has mentioned a couple of times that alluded to this was like in lieu of 5 other towers that might come in. The irony is the state law wouldn't allow us to consider that anyway. So it could be another one of those 5 other companies could be here tomorrow and saying, well, you can't consider that you approved AT&T's tower last month. So,
They're getting to be a lot more plentiful now because of the technology and what we do now. And I think a lot depends on the aesthetics on the ground. I think that when I look in a neighborhood and I drive by and see it, I've got a cell tower near me, and I think the aesthetics on the ground is very important. Just my 2 cents.
Yeah, and I was quite shocked when I saw the faux stone and the trees.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that I don't think there's anything that we can do to change a 250-foot tower. Besides making a Christmas tree out of it, which we already said can't do that. So it'd be a pretty big one.
I saw 2 pine tree cell towers in Colorado when I was out there. Kind of interesting. I didn't think they disguised them very well, but from a distance it worked. From a distance.
Yeah, and at that point, it probably sticks out more than,
Right.
than it blends
Yeah,
in.
they were a little odd. That's what's
Right. Right. All right. Any more discussion?
Do we really have options still on this or not?
I mean, you always have the option to vote, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's at the ultimate end. It's not like you're going to be arrested.
it's a legal proceeding. I mean, obviously, yes, you have the option, but you need to pay attention to the law. And, so, yeah. So I could explain to you what the state prohibitions are. Please abide by them because we would lose that We'll lose a lawsuit if you vote against it because you want to put it on another property, something that falls under that prohibited activity.
Two things I read are that property values and environmental issues are the main reason that we could vote no for it.
So I do have a question. This is already a lot.
Yeah, it's existing track, yeah.
Okay. So that it seems like an odd track to be in the middle of, I'm assuming it's surrounded by ag.
Well, it's actually surrounded by multifamily zoning.
Well, R&B,
300
yeah,
acres of
R&B.
multifamily zoning. This, you may or may not remember, was the former site of proposed Tomahawk Ridge development that was denied because it didn't meet a traffic study. We wouldn't approve a traffic study. So that was actually going to be a 600 home neighborhood that was denied because of the concerns about the road. And that went all the way to the Court of Appeals and was upheld. And since that time, this track, they've shuffled their legal descriptions around. There's still the same number of tracks out there, but this one's only 8.5 acres instead of 70 before.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I will make a motion to.
So we're gonna make
Yeah, we
two
need two separate
separate
motions and
motions.
rezoning. And
So yeah, that'll be the 3A.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor of approval of agenda item 3A, raise your right hand. All opposed?
Stay.
Oh, abstain. Sorry, I didn't see you down there. Did you get everybody, Jackie? All right. And then entertain a motion for agenda item 5A.
To approve the agenda item for the
Erica made the motion.
with conditions, please.
with conditions listed. Second that.
Second.
All in favor of approval of agenda item 5A, raise your right hand. All opposed? All abstaining? What's that? Troy.
Yes.
Troy voted no, yes.
Agenda item 3B is a rezoning request concerning 9.89 acres located at 9450 Northwest Moore Road. The Wilkins Family Trust is requesting to rezone this 9.89 acres from ag to R80. Which stands for rural single family. They are requesting this rezoning in order to lessen the building setback requirements. They would like to construct an accessory structure on the property. Under the current ag zoning, it has to be at 100 feet from the side property line, 100 feet from the front property line of the proposed R80 zoning. Those setbacks reduced to 50 feet off the front, 15 feet off the side. Rezoning would also bring this property in conformance with our current zoning order. The R80 zoning district minimum lot size is 80,000 square feet. The minimum lot requirement is 200 feet. Property meets these requirements. So the aerial view of subject properties and surrounding zonings, get your bearings. We are in the southwestern portion of Platte County. This is Farley Hampton Road, which intersects with Baker Road, which comes down and turns into Moore Road. Moore Road runs south and then ultimately intersects with Hillsborough Road. So the property outlined here in yellow. So the close-up view of the property. I believe they wish to put that accessory structure over here in this location, approximately where my cursor is. But it would shrink that setback to 15 feet instead of 100. These are the entities that reviewed the rezoning request and signed the application. There are the Platte County Department of Public Works, Platte County Health Department, Public Water Supply District number 4, the Southern Platte Fire Protection District, Southern Platte Ambulance District, and the Platte County R3 School District. The red arrow indicates the approximate location here on our land use plan of the property. This too falls within our agricultural policy area, which once again recommends 1 lot per 10 acres or more. With an existing 9, almost 10 acre tract, no new lots are being created. Just simply asking to reduce the setback to place that structure in their desired location. These are Recommendation criteria listed in the staff report. Staff recommend approval of the request to rezone from ag to R80. I'm available for any questions you may have.
Why R80 and not RE?
Don't have enough frontage, not enough lot width.
400? What's that?
That's a great answer.
I figured that was the case, but wasn't sure. I didn't get out my tape measure. Any other questions for staff? Comments from the audience for agenda item 3B? Discussion amongst the board. Entertain a motion for agenda item 3B.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve agenda item 3B. I don't think there's any conditions.
I'll second it.
All right, Chris made the motion, Troy second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Item passed unanimously.
Agenda item 4A is request to amend an existing site development plan at the PAR Electrical Contractors Facility located at 6840 Northwest 136th Street. PAR seeking to amend their existing site plan to expand their main equipment facility on their 78-acre portion within unincorporated Platte County. The property is actually 250 total acres in size, 78 within unincorporated Platte County, which is our jurisdiction. The amended site plan, they proposing to add a 60 by 100 foot lodge for employee meetings and company events, safety meetings. I'm going to ask that for safety meetings, other employee meetings that they may have, company events they may have. They also would like to place two 48 by 60 foot temporary office trailers, two 36 by 60 foot temporary office trailers, a 27 space gravel parking lot, and two redesigned gravel surface outdoor storage areas for their equipment parking. They've been in this location for 55 years, so that's quite a long time. And just a quick rundown of how they've come to this, where they're at now. They had their first site plan done in 2001. 2007, they amended it, which added a 75 by 72 foot mechanic shop. Then in 2015, they added a 285 foot by 100 foot storage building and expanded their equipment parking and outdoor storage areas. February 2019, they were before the board again. They added a 696 foot by 440 foot gravel outdoor storage area north of an existing pond. And now they're here today to change the facility again. So this is the aerial view of subject property, the surrounding zones, get to very in the eastern part of Platte County. This is Highway C, which intersects with Walker Road. And then it comes down here, also intersects with 136th Street. Walker Road is on the east side of the property. 136th Street is on the south side. The pink area is within the city of Kansas City. The yellow area and the PI, Planned Industrial Zone portion of the property, and then unincorporated Platte County. The closer view, even closer still. This is an old house that's since been demolished. There'll be temporary office trailers will be placed in this location right in here, as well as the parking lot. The proposed meeting space, meeting building will be located back here in this portion. This area will be all redesigned gravel outdoor storage, and then they will be redesigning gravel outdoor storage here, hugging the tree line to better hide that outdoor storage in this area as well. This is the site development plan that was submitted. It has been reviewed by staff. It does meet all the requirements of our site development plan section found in the zoning order. Several pages to this plan. I'll scroll through them. This is kind of the nuts and bolts one. This is the proposed temporary office buildings, gravel parking, the meeting building that they're calling the lodge, the redesigned gravel storage for their outside storage. Let's see. Oh, froze up. Hold on just a second. Oh, here we go. Nope. There is a solid 8-foot privacy fence in this location. We requested that they extend that further to the south to screen those office trailers from the adjoining neighborhood there to the east, and they've
Where-
agreed to do that. That will definitely help.
Could you say that your red dot had disappeared up there?
This area, it was moving. Oh, no. Anyway,
Is along that eastern border?
yeah, along the eastern border.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you. That's good enough.
yeah, along the eastern border. I don't know what happened to my red dot, but anyway, they've agreed to this. There's an 8-foot solid vinyl privacy fence, and they're agreed to extend that further to the south to buffer that area from the existing neighborhood, Allen Acres there, to the east. Across Walker Road.
How far is it? Where's the exactly the fence gonna be? I live right up over there, so I'm just curious exactly.
It's gonna come, I have my laser pointer back just a second, hold on. Yeah, good point. There we go. There. it is. So here's where the fence stops.
Right.
They're gonna extend it further to here. Towards
So
136.
it's coming towards 136.
Yeah, yes, further south, yes, towards 136, yes. This is the final page of the site plan showing the adjoining properties as required, as well as the stream buffer setback, which they will be out of. These are the entities that reviewed the request. They did sign the application. They were provided a copy of the site plan for review. They are the Platte County Health Department, Public Waters, or Platte County Department of Public Works, Public Water number 4. Platte County R3 School Districts, Smithville Area Fire Protection District, in the city of Kansas City. I didn't receive any comments from these entities. They did sign the application indicating their ability to provide service. Needs and recommendation criteria is listed in the staff report. Staff recommends approval of this request for the amended site development plan. Additional questions you may have.
Jason?
Well, for a site plan, all you have to do is post a public notice sign. I did have a phone call today from a gentleman, and he was concerned about the screening of the office trailers. And when I told him about the fence, he seemed pretty excited about that and said he wasn't going to come, and he might be here. I don't know. And then I did have a phone call from another neighbor across the street. I don't know that they're here or not, but the fencing was a big deal. Because right now it's just a split rail fence, three rail vinyl fence. So the solid fence will make a big difference there.
So are these temporary facilities actually permanently there?
No, and I'm gonna let the applicant speak to their ultimate plan. I think their goal is they would like this to be PAR's headquarters, which it kind of already is.
Yeah.
I don't know where their current offices are, but I think in time they would like to have a permanent office building of some type out here. I don't know what their timeline. Temporary is defined in our zoning order as a period of 2 years.
Okay, that's
If they exceed that, they're gonna need to come back and ask for an extension.
Is this existing pond acting as detention at all? Designed detention basin, or is it just a pond?
You have to ask the applicant that. Yeah, I mean, it's all gravel, so there's not a ton of,
Do we know the total impervious area?
I do not know the total impervious area.
Is traffic a consideration? Because there's quite a bit of traffic coming in and out there, and
Yes, we have talked about that. And Daniel and I are struggling with what that tipping point is gonna be. If they come in with a full-on office building type situation, that's gonna have to be addressed.
there's about probably, I would just guess 200 plus vehicles there at any given time.
I don't doubt that, yeah.
At
Yeah.
the facility?
I mean, yeah, at that facility. I mean, that's their main storage yard. That is their storage yard for all of their equipment and all their trucks. They have a lot of employees that get that daily, and the applicant's here. He can talk a little bit better than I can about that. But, yeah, I mean, Daniel and I talked about that. It's all grandfathered at this point, because I mean, it is zoned industrial. So it is a permitted use.
If we're making amendments to it, then we're changing what can be done, correct? Because otherwise they wouldn't come in front of us.
They're changing, they're expanding their use. Yes, they are. Yes.
You have to remember, a site development plan is a matter of right use under the zoning. So it's just, it's not that, the ability to say, yes or no, you can or cannot do that. It's limited, mainly just here's the layout of it. Now,
there will be a trigger at some point, because it's grandfathered in, I think, 50 years, 55 years, 55 years. If it came, if it was just bare ag ground right now, and somebody came in, I want to put the headquarters of Power Electric right there, we'd have a lot of talk about that.
I think it kind of already unofficially is.
It is, I know.
Yeah, but what, just from my knowledge, because my neighbor worked there, he
Yeah.
was the COO.
Yeah.
And so I'm very well aware of the property. There's one concern that I have is there's a lot of lights there. I mean, it is industrial lights everywhere. You can see them almost good. You could see a plane in the sky.
It's an industrial operation.
So for expanding it, I mean, they've got a pretty big operation as it is. You know, I'm just concerned about my neighborhood and the members of,
Yeah, the county does have a traffic study ordinance.
I was gonna ask
mean,
about
you
that.
have to, it's based on, you know, it being additional traffic. I think it's something to definitely take consideration when they talk in building permanent headquarter type buildings there.
I know like the Brim, which is before I came around.
Yeah.
A lot of the neighbors around there complain about that. I know it gets once a week, you know, you got some cars coming down there, but with a repair building that's expanding and making this their headquarters, I think that there has to be I think for me, talking out loud here, I think there has to be more considerations made versus, you know, in terms of traffic, what's that gonna be like? What, are they gonna add more lights in there? I didn't see anything about that. You know what I mean?
That's it.
And then they're about going,
Would that have to be on the site development?
Yeah, it would be.
Okay.
I think it's fair to put it on record that when they do come in for the next, if they're going to build these temporary buildings to become the permanent headquarters, and they're probably going to do the whole analysis of traffic.
Well, the other problem that you have there, is that you're coming off, so you've got a lot of these big vehicles in a pretty residential area. So a lot of these vehicles, I mean, I would guess on Walker Road, I could walk on there at any point in time, maybe see a car for 10 minutes, you know, except on a busy, you know, commute time. And on 136, because of that, it's individual building there, it's the whole traffic. I mean, there's like one house directly, two houses directly across the street, one to it could be the west, and nothing to the east besides a corner house on the corner there. So they occupy a very, very big footprint. So that's why we've got so many nice deer in my yard as well. So I just want to make that on the record that it is a already very, very busy public company. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Any other comments for staff?
So Daniel, are you saying that if we come back to add permanent buildings, that's when you want the traffic's?
Troy mentioned at some point there's a trigger where you kind of, even though it's a permitted zone, the problem is it's zone industrial, it's grandfathered use, you know, and so you kind of, that's there. So you can only analyze what's new, what's being added, and at some point.
So the caveat is it's temporary.
Yes, it's temporary.
Yeah, I see, you know, those footprint of those temporary trailers, I'm going to assume that a permanent office building is going to exceed that.
Well, is there anything there that's temporary right now that's been there for a long, long time? I guess that, you know, history repeats itself, right?
There's nothing labeled.
No, they're not labeled temporary, they're all permanent buildings.
So the definition of a lodge, would that be,
I asked what that was, and he just said safety meetings and employee events,
okay,
whatever, yeah.
Christmas parties and.
Yeah, Christmas parties.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Okay. If the applicant is present, would they like to make a statement? All right. Raise your right hand, state your name and address for the record, please.
Chris Parkin, work address or home address?
Work address is fine.
6840 Northwest 136th Street.
Promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
Absolutely, yes.
Go ahead, Chris.
Actually, I just came up. If you guys have any questions, go ahead, fire away. Troy, I know you've been asking a lot of questions.
Yeah, it's just because I'm very intimate with the location. I live on
Standard Bread.
Yep, right around the corner.
Yeah, Chris Gom was probably your neighbor.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So you're not too far off on the corporate office. We
we are a part of a company called Quanta Services out of Houston, Texas. So Power Electric was actually born and bred in North Kansas City. So it's been a company since it was over 55 years. I think we just celebrated our 75th year. We have been at that location as our main equipment facility. I'm part of the fleet, so I actually work on that site. We supply trucks from Wyoming to Ohio. They come in, we pick them, we send them back out. We could have 100 trucks on site. We could have 20. 20 is where I want it because that means everything's working and we're making some money. The lighting, I am concerned about the lighting because I don't think that we have that much light, maybe just around the building, just for security. But I mean, that's something I can look into as well. We've got great neighbors there. I know pretty much all the neighbors that surround the property there. We try to take care of. So, I mean, if there's any questions, feel free, ask away.
I don't think I have anything for you. Oh,
We've got a fishing pond, a detention pond. Is there any kind of outlet structure on that?
So I've been with the company for about 28 years and that pond's been there as long as I can remember. It was basically a cattle pond. Before all the other buildings were built, that there was cattle out there.
And was any detention planned as part of this improvements to reduce the impacts of the expansion?
I don't think so.
I know on the grading and erosion control plan, it said something about it, detention because it's not sure.
I don't think we were displacing. I don't think so.
any other questions for the applicant? All right. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the audience for agenda item 4A? Come on up, ma'am. Raise your right hand and state your name and address for the record, please.
Terry Abel, 13635 Walker Road, and City, Missouri 641.
Promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. Go ahead, ma'am.
I have always been a great neighbor. We sit directly across the street from. So I don't know if I have concerns, comments, or thoughts, but we were excited to hear about the fence that was going to go up. I hope the height is enough. I thought when we first came in, I heard that there were going to be some additional trees to go in there too. I was concerned about noise, elevation, when they were tearing down and out. There's a lot of construction noise or just ongoing work noise. I thought the trees might help. I didn't know if the fence was going to turn the corner Walker and 136th Street would make that a nice turn. And make the view good. And I didn't know, property value wise, I think for our property value wise, if that corner was dressed nice with the fence that they're going to put up and some trees would help that. And then I have some concerns about light pollution when they go to put security light in. I got it bringing in my car window. I think that's kind of the main things.
Are you talking about light pollution as it stands? Because they can't put any more up there without amended the site plan. I mean, the site plan, as I understand it, they can't do any more. So is that something you have a problem with now?
There is one big light that just shines there.
I know which one you're talking about.
You know what I'm,
Yeah, it's on the corner there.
and there's like buildings going up, like, spotlights on the corners or in the trees. I think that helps shield that. I don't know if it's a fence or a big berm with the fence going on top of the berm. I don't know.
So lighting itself is supposed to be facing downward. I mean, they can have security lighting, but it needs to be facing downward. You may talk to the applicant about putting some sort of shield to help direct that a little bit better. That's something you can do.
Yeah, you might want to look into that.
Yeah.
We can bring him
You can
back
see
up.
it pretty good.
We can bring him back up, Troy.
But as far as the fencing, it was only going to come to the corner, not necessarily wrap the corner. And there aren't any additional trees shown on the site plan, but that's something too that you could talk to the applicant about. The board can ask that, and he may be willing to do that.
Thanks, Jason. All right.
That's all I have.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Any other comments from the audience for agenda item 4A? Come on up, sir. State your name and address for the record, please.
Michael Abel, 13635 Walker Road, KCMO.
Promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Go ahead, Michael.
So I just wanted, that's my wife. I just had one more comment to make, and that was what they talked about, that there was a house that was torn down that was up on, it was at a higher elevation. And so even if the lighting is caught, it has to go down. When we would sit on our front porch, or actually when they had their porch light on that house, I don't know if somebody would live there or not, but that light was pretty intrusive. So, and so I doubt that there's going to be a problem with the trailers, especially if the fence is there. And as my wife pointed out, trees would be great. So anything to kind of shield us from having to look at a commercial site out our front door would be great. And my greatest concern then is a corporate office that might be multi-story gumming up and looming. I mean, we moved to this site because we didn't want to be in a multi-story. We didn't want a corporate office across the street from our house. And so that is a concern if they're going to build a corporate office, and our rural home has to look at a corporate office building.
All right. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, sir.
Bring the applicant up.
Chris, you want to come back up? Can you come back up to the mic, please?
Jay, you want to go first?
Yeah, I do have a question. Has there been any site distance, studies or exhibits put together for that, intersection of Walker Road with 146, with that, is it 8-foot fence?
Nope.
On that corner?
No, I mean, that was something that we just suggested that they needed to add last week. There was no study done. It was just a feeling after we went out there, after staff went out and posted the signs. We thought it'd be a pretty good idea if they extended this 8-foot fence further to the south. Just any screening was gonna be good.
Is there any concern about site distance for trucks? or-
Oh, it has to stay back far enough to where it will not affect the sign distance. Yeah, they can't take it all the way up to the road where it's gonna interfere with the intersection at all. No, they have to keep it on the right of way line.
And then you said it was a 3-rail fence on the south side.
Yeah, currently it is.
136.
It's gonna be changed to the 8-foot solid vinyl.
Oh, it's going to go across the south, east to west?
It's gonna take, I don't know, he hadn't, no.
Okay.
But you can ask that he can do that for a little, and see if he would be willing to do that for a certain distance.
Right.
And
Okay.
trees.
And so the 3-rail, because I haven't looked at I'm not familiar with the properly like some of us are. So currently it's 3-rail vinyl. And so that will be on that north-south, on the eastern border, will be
Correct.
changed to the 8-foot, and then along 136.
Still
Is there any fence there now?
Still have the same, I think the
Is it-
same,
is the same 3-rail?
yeah,
3-rail vinyl.
3-rail vinyl there.
Okay.
Now further to the west, down further house, they have some burning bushes. But what those look like right now, especially. They look good. That they planted, yeah, right now. But, maybe they could, might have to maybe want to do something like that.
Did you guys do a study on how much traffic would be added? How many employees are you guys anticipating added to this property?
About 15.
Are you guys shutting down your next location?
No, but we're bursting at the seams.
Okay.
Gotcha.
That's one of the reasons why the temporary, we're bursting at the seams right now.
Gotcha.
I had a question for you. You say your name is Chris? Yes, sir. Chris, sir, this is a great name. Do you think that would be too constrictive if we wanted some trees along that southeast corner, going maybe a little west a little bit and north to kind of shade? Is there any room in there?
Yeah, there's room.
You think there's room right up next to the fence, or what do you talk?
Yeah, I mean,
You think that would, and in your opinion, if we wanted to do that, how far north from that southeast corner would you want to go? I mean, it looks like to me, if you go all the way to Standard Bread, that's a long way, but maybe the first 300 or 400 yards. I mean, I don't know that, I mean, some of the issues is light and noise, and that may hit the neighborhood aesthetically and sound wise.
I wish I had can you see the trees? Cause there is a tree row there.
There are, okay.
There are some, yeah, right
Okay.
through here, there is.
So maybe just extend it from that, whatever that white area is down south. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are the buildings going back there?
They're gonna be in that corner.
Right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not dropping back too far north.
About right where that house was.
Okay.
So I don't know how we would write that up as far as conditions. As far as feet wise, I don't know how many feet it is.
Can we put conditions on a site plan?
Oh, maybe we can. Okay.
I know we can on special use permit, but this is not a.
Okay.
You can request a condition, ask the applicant, it's not a special use permit.
Right.
Like, it's known industrial, it's permitted use, but yeah, you can, request some conditions. You, hopefully the applicant would agree to them. If they agree to, you put them on.
Okay. Thank you. Would you be,
Yes.
agreeable to that?
Yes.
Okay, I think that would help both parties involved. I mean, it make your property look better, and the sound and maybe some light pollution that kind of pulls over there, so. Guess we can't make conditions, but we can sure ask.
Yeah.
I also invite Mr. Kearns, come over. I'll get up there in a bucket truck. I'll take that light out, whatever light that is. I don't know which one it is. So
I'm used to it, but I just, what I'm seeing is not, and you guys are good neighbors, I'm not gonna say that. You just run a good business and there's a lot of traffic.
Yep.
And I'm more concerned about my neighbors than I am anything else. That's not it.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions or requests for the applicant? So what's the condition that you were?
I don't know if we can do conditions. I think he just agreed that, that he's agreeable to do that. We can't put conditions on it, right?
Right, just to make a request, an official request, I don't know.
You agree to it. You can add it as a condition.
Yeah, say they.
You have a number of trees or?
Look, there again, I'm not, I can't tell on the perspective how long or linear feet we're talking there, but from that white area, I don't know what that white area is on that southeast, great south, and maybe a little bit west to kind of like half the distance of that southern border, and then up to that white structure, whatever that is.
How about you just say something about the applicant develop a plan to submit to staff to come up with a tree planting plan that achieves some bit of buffer from the dwelling landowners.
I'm fine with that. I think that would help everybody.
Did you catch all that, Jackie?
Real time.
Understand. Is there any other comments, questions, statements, requests for the applicant? All right, thank you, Chris.
Yes, sir.
We'll entertain a motion for agenda item 4A.
Motion to approve agenda item 4A with the decision.
All right,
And I would second that motion.
Chris second. Jade made the motion. All in favor of approval of agenda item 4A, raise your right hand. Item passes. Opposed? 5B.
Agenda item 5B is a request to renew an existing special use permit on a 5-acre property located at 13607 Northwest 76th Street. Hillary Smith is applying to renew an existing special use permit allowing the raising of farm animals, and more specifically horses, in the R80, which is the rural single family zoning district. That original special use permit was approved in December of 2000. It allowed a maximum of 5 horses to be kept on that property for a period of 25 years. That's going to expire in December of 2025. The applicant wishes to renew this to allow a maximum of only 3 horses, but she's requesting a period of 50 years. It's 5-acre subject property located at 13607 Northwest 76th Street. Should be noted that over the time that I've been here, staff have had no complaints about the life of the existing special use permit. And we always talk about the special use running with the property, not the owner. I believe these are the second or third owners of this that have had this special use permit. And get your bearings. Here we are in southern portion of Platte County, Highway 45, K Highway, runs to the north. This is 152. Intersect 76th Street, runs back here to the west. This is the property outlined here in yellow. It borders right up against the Chapel Ridge subdivision. And just for a little perspective, when Chapel Ridge was approved, one of the conditions of approval placed by the county commission was that the developer install a privacy fence to protect this property's horses from the neighbors. So, I don't see anybody here that, I don't know if there are any neighbors from Chapel Ridge that are here, but I certainly have not had any phone calls, so they were fully aware that the horses were there. I've had no complaints, like I said, over the life of the special use permit. This is the site plan, the original site plan that was approved with the original special use. They're not proposing any changes to it. The entities that reviewed the request, Platte, Parkville Special Road, Public Law Number 1, Southern Flats Fire and Amos Districts, Parkville School District, the cities of Parkville, Kansas City, and Weatherby Lake. I received no comments from any of these entities. And that being said, staff recommends approval of this request with the conditions to allow with a maximum of 3 horses as requested by the applicant for a period of 50 years. I'm available for any questions you may have.
That includes everything in the yellow. That's just 5 acres.
Yes, sir. Yep. It looks bigger. Yeah.
Questions for staff?
Basically extending what's already there, right?
Correct. Yeah. And when a special use permit runs out, you got to reapply. That's and it runs with the land. So, yep, that's it.
Are there any other farm animals there now other than the horses? Just horses. And will it always be that way?
What's that? I'm sorry. Yeah, that's all they're proposing. That's all they've indicated to us.
Yeah, I live near there. It's a very well maintained property and
Yep.
I do have a question, more of a general question. If a property like this was subdivided, what would that do to a special use permit? If they wanted to subdivide that in half because of the zoning?
What I'm going to tell you is it actually does already. It is already subdivided. 5 total acres, but it existed in 2 separate lots. It has not been replatted into one lot, so it's already split. So it provides that 5 acres consisting of both lots.
3 horses total.
Yeah, 3 horses total for that whole 5 acres. So yeah.
The question has come up before. As long as they can do the subdivision in the zoning that it's approved under, I think it's valid. It would have been split.
So you would have a horse and a half on each?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know about the conditions. That's a weird one. Yeah. Who gets half the horse?
Right. One full size, one miniature?
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
It is already split.
Okay. So there's two lots there, but, okay. All right. Any other questions for staff? Comments from the audience for agenda item 5B? Discussion amongst the board. 50 years is a long time, but it's been there for 25 with no complaints, so nobody has an issue. All right, can you come up to the microphone, please? We'll swear you in. State your name and address for the record, please. Promise, name and address, please.
7535 Northwest Damon Drive in Parkville.
Promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. Go ahead, ma'am.
We owned the property for 12 years prior to selling it to our daughter, Lori Smith. And she now said she's the one requesting the change for the 50 years. I think it was over years, something like that. So fit in that 25. But I don't think there would be any reason why not to grant 50 years. They're planning to stay in there for a long time. We and buying more property behind them if possible. So I think 50 years is reasonable.
Okay.
25 years goes by really fast.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Why do you want to reduce the number of horses?
That's not the applicant. though.
Oh, that's
5 to 3.
That's the applicant's mom.
I mean, the original was approved for 5, they're only out for 3.
Right.
Yeah, we've had 3 horses on there for a long time, but it's just been recently that there's 0 right now. Yeah, 2 children right now, so anyhow, just want to say 50 years will go by really fast. Maybe for one that's been there around 25, that's where we are. We're here again.
All right.
I mean.
Thank you, Karen.
And our property, we bought in Chapel Ridge. And we back up.
She's speaking.
Okay.
So we're all trying to-
We'll have to swear you in.
All right, Hillary Smith, 1367 Northwest 76th Park, Missouri, 64152.
Promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Go ahead, Hillary.
You asked a question about 5 horses versus 3. We have a 3-stall barn, a 3-horse gooseneck horse trailer, and I don't foresee me having more than 3 horses. And honestly, I didn't know if I applied for 5 horses, if that would get approved, but we're fine with the 3. And as far as the term, the owners previous to my parents, they had, I think, 25 years. They actually wanted more, but because that individual did not keep up the property, people contested that they only have 25 years. So theirs actually got knocked down. I would love to put on there 100 or 75 years, but if we live there for that amount of time and then pass our children. So that was the other reasoning for an extended length of time.
Have you asked her if she wants it?
She might. My other daughter loved having the horses, but
She's talking.
oh,
All right.
sounds good.
Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you, Ms. Smith.
I will say, researching all this, the original permit minute from that meeting, I think the original guy may have had, like she said, had some issues about not maintaining the properties great. And that's why they set it at 25.
They That'd be a really long time. So the old planning commission must have been pretty lax. I don't think if there were issues that we would do a 25 year if there was complaints. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Is there any discussion amongst the board for agenda item 5B? Entertain a motion. Do I make a motion to approve?
Second.
Jerry seconds. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? Oh, unanimous. Erica, you're up.
Mr. Chairman, I reviewed the minutes and they appeared to be in order. So I'm going to
Well done.
Erica made the motion for minutes.
I would second the motion.
Chris seconds. All in favor of approval of minutes, raise your right hand. All opposed, all abstaining? You abstain? Other business?
Next meeting, December 16th, 6 p.m. In this room, we have one preliminary plat for, well, it's an amended plat. There's 2 existing lots that they want to make into 6. And the cul-de-sac in Shelter Haven. So that's the only thing on that agenda. Happy Thanksgiving.
Is that, that's the same night as the Christmas party? I can't remember.
You can have one after. That's all I got.
Daniel, you got something?
Just a quick note to the news about the data centers. You get hit up about data centers. Not in our, that's in Platte County, but it's within the city of Kansas City.
Right?
In the city of Kansas City. Not by much, but it's in the city. So I've already got people. I actually had a person who was called about it, thought this meeting was about the data center. No. Don't come here to talk about data centers. So, anyway.
All right.
See what this is.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn? Everybody wants to say? Oh, okay. Motion.
John.
Troy seconds. All in favor of adjournment? All right, I guess nobody does. Meeting adjourned.
It's okay.
I know. Keep saying that. I have chosen the line of work. I need.
All right, thanks. Thanks, sir.
What is this crap? All this. You said it. Start. Like, what are you thinking? Junkyard.
I'm on it.
Okay, we've got one working on KK Matthews. I will.
It might be much more than him. I think we're leaving on 16th.
Don't worry about it.
But if they come back and say, yeah, but if they come back and say, well, you just did that.
Separate agenda item.
I remember they built them and then they realized that the frame.
60.
It's all right.
Oh,
Take care.
Good.
You probably see.
Most of them.
I know.
Usually. Yeah.
Why was that?
Hey, Jason. We were gonna put nine that are deep. So he was the president. I know.
Yeah, all that. Yeah. So you get the grass all good from there. Yeah. Right. That's why I was wondering.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not, yeah, but I agree. So. No, I'm just like. So I was on the. So, and
Why not?
There's things that need to be done. He saw me a little bit on. It's an area. I'm very mindful.
That's why. That's why.
You have a hole. Oh, yeah, yeah, the bottom. That's not.
Yeah.
Critical thinking.
She wants that. Yeah.
I agree.
Don't tell him.
I mean,